Yeah. How do you think your car identifies other vehicles on the road, man?
It's because Elon Musk is an alien. You remember that episode of Voyager when the guy comes back in time and then creates that company? That's not fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. What is up, interwebs?
We've been recording this whole time?
Yes, we have. We've been rolling. Not a dull moment around here, sir. Everything is... Yeah. What is up, interwebs? Big Blue here. Matt, the Cut Man, engaging and making it so. We have just watched the first episode of Star Trek Picard.
Have we ever?
Some of us have watched it more than others. It is Saturday evening, and the show debuted, midnight Thursday? Or
yeah, it came out Thursday. I don't know really what time.
Whenever it was, wherever you are, whenever you watched it, that's when it was released. As vague as that can be. So
it's right here in my heart right now.
There it is. Cutman, a much long-anticipated premiere of this show.
Yes.
And I know we were both very excited about this. The trailer that we did a trailer reaction on the channel. We had a lot of positive things to say about it. Did it live up to your expectations?
Oh, man. Blue skies smiling at me.
That copyright.
Nope, sorry, we don't own that, apparently.
That's all we get. That's all you get. That's all you get.
Yeah, I mean, that opening shot of space and then 1701D coming in, and then Picard,
love the D.
And get a tape recorder and just play back what you sound like sometimes.
Yeah.
I think you'll be shocked. Or just play back the show.
Yeah.
Picard and Data sitting in 10 forward.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's been, 20 years?
Yeah.
Since we've seen the two of them sitting on 10 forward.
Yeah.
That moment alone
the
was
thing
worth
that
it.
struck me the most was how amazing the makeup was on Brent Spiner. Mm-hmm. Because Brent Spiner don't look like that no more.
No.
And
I was really surprised.
It was so impressive that it was Data.
I was really curious how they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Because, they got in tight.
Yeah.
And, Data's an android.
Yeah.
And he's not going to age. And Brenton Spiner is a human being.
Who ages.
Yes. And that was done really well.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is a lot of times when you see, heavily make-upped, people that look, young and stuff like that, you could tell that it's heavily make-upped. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was makeup and stuff like that, but it was so flawless. It was just done so well.
And it didn't take me out of it, and it was just Data.
It was just Data. You're right.
You have a tell Data. That's impossible, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just fell right back into that character. It reminded me so much of Anthony Daniels just falling right back into C-3PO.
Sure.
It's just some people just are that character, and Brent Spiner just is Commander Data.
The show was, I'm going to use the term fan service, and I'm going to use it in the best way possible.
I don't think that term is a bad term.
No. It was not. It could be used as a pejorative, but it was absolutely not in this case.
No, the Bajorans were in a different series.
So, anyway,
yes,
it was. It gave little tidbits of exactly what you needed while telling a brand new story.
Yeah.
And then you got Picard on the Vineyard, which. I found it strange that he would go to the Vineyard when he retired, because there was an episode of Next Gen.
I remember that episode
of right when he was recovering from having been a Borg, and he goes to the Picard Vineyard and he hates it. He and his brother Robert do not get along.
Yep.
He never liked being working on the vineyard and that life, and so you see him now in retirement and tending the vines and walking around with number one.
You can tell that he's You know, and he even says it to that, and I forget some of the characters' names, but the Romulan woman that's there with him.
Sure,
she says
the house servant.
But you know, bad dreams, and he says the dreams are lovely. It's the waking up that is is troublesome, and it is. You can tell when he's dreaming, he's with Data. He's on the starship.
Right.
He's the admiral. He's the captain. He's exploring the galaxy.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he's an old man walking through, you know, the vineyards with his dog.
That's not the life that he wants to be on that ship. He wants to be in that chair.
Exactly.
Don't let him take you out of that chair.
Yeah, but before we get too heavily into the episode, we have to take a moment, and I don't know if this was before or after that moment, but I think it may have been after. But the opening credits and the new theme that we got, and you had mentioned to me the name of the composer, and I forget his name.
Russo.
Yeah. How amazing is that theme?
It's so good. It's so good.
And it's so Star Trek, too.
Yes.
It's
and the theme sequence tells a story.
Yeah.
It's he does the same one for, not the same one, but he does the theme for Discovery.
Right.
And it takes you on a little bit of a story, and it's very good. And then right at the end, that Star Trek signature theme. Right.
Yeah, it is. It's distinctively Star Trek, yet it's its own entity, and it's perfect, and it fits this theme. It tells you, it's very much Picard too. You know, it is. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. If we can't get, you know, Jerry Goldsmith, rest in peace, to give us a new,
which I don't think we can.
No, not so much. To give us a new theme, then it is. This was very much a wonderful substitute. I would like to talk for just a minute about one of the things that, if you haven't watched the series on YouTube that's the companion to this, Ready Room, that Will Wheaton is doing. I highly recommend you do it. It gives some really good insights to some of the behind the scenes. Yeah. One of the things that he talks.
And if you don't know, Will Wheaton played a bridge officer on the original Next Gen.
Right. Ensign Wesley Crusher. He says he's talking with the showrunner and the first episode's director, and I forget their names, but one of the things that they mention is that they specifically designed this episode to cater to both hardcore Trek fans and fans of just good television. You are a hardcore Trek fan. A little bit. Yeah. I appreciate Star Trek. I've watched just about everything there is to do with Star Trek. I haven't watched Discovery yet. I will now that I have, I almost said CBS Plus, and that's not right. All Access. But this definitely spoke to me as someone who appreciates it, that doesn't necessarily get all the Easter eggs. And
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it makes me want to go and look further into, clearly this thing that they said here refers to something else, and it makes me want to go and look up what that other thing was. Yeah. And go look up, you know, some of these other old episodes of The Next Generation that I watched, 25 years ago that I don't remember because I was, 14 when I watched it.
There are a few that there's actually one that I went back and rewatched after this one because it has some serious tie-ins to Picard. We'll talk about that in just a minute when we get to the next part.
Sure. Well, let's waste not, want not. What was the next part?
So, the new character that appears.
Yeah. Daj.
Daj.
Yeah.
Daj. So we see Daj in Boston.
Yeah.
With her boyfriend, they're drinking wine. She just got accepted to the Daystrom Institute.
Yep.
That's another drop-in.
Right.
The Daystrom Institute.
I recognized that because I knew that's where Data was born, created. Ish.
He wasn't born or created there. He's been referenced there a lot.
Okay.
He was created by Dr. Noonien Singh,
no, I thought that was Khan Noonien Singh. I thought, wasn't that?
Oh yes, no, I'm sorry. That was Khan. That's an oof.
I'm not editing that out, by the way.
Damn! God! No, but Data was not from Daystrom, but Daystrom and Data have a lot of connections.
Right, yeah, no, I knew the association.
And Daystrom is like our like MIT or DARPA
Gotcha.
or whatever.
Right.
It's a very prestigious institute.
Gotcha.
in Starfleet. It's gonna bug me to like remember who Data's creator was.
Let him know down in the comments who Data's creator was.
It's going to erupt out of my head before the end of this. But so there was that, and then we find out that she activates.
Right. Yeah.
She is obviously something very different. Is she an android? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She is definitely just not human.
Yeah.
So as what were your thoughts on that?
Because of Jean-Luc's history with the Borg, and we know, Jerry Ryan is in it. We know that Hugh. Yeah. I need to go back and rewatch his arc as well, because I don't remember his arc at all.
I think it was just one episode.
Okay. I thought she was going to be some Borg human hybrid.
Yeah.
They were trying to, she had escaped some facility or something like that, and they were trying to recapture her or something like that. I didn't see her being a synthetic Data child at all.
Right. I kind of saw it coming a little bit before the reveal.
Okay.
Because there is an episode in Next Gen called Offspring where Data does create a child called Lol.
Right.
And if you haven't seen that one, it's fantastic.
I watched a video earlier today where they were talking about a bunch of different themes. They referenced that one, and they had mentioned that the complexity of Data even was so complex that even he couldn't recreate his own matrix. And when she died, everyone was all real upset, except Data's like, why are y'all upset? She's in here,
Yes. So, and the tragedy of that, where everyone, like Geordi and everyone on the bridge was heartbroken for Data, and the fact that he couldn't be sad and he couldn't feel those emotions, that's really what got me. And so if you go back and watch that episode, be prepared for a good cry.
Right. Well, I will have tissue in hand.
Yeah, it's not often that an episode of Star Trek will make you cry, but when it does, it gets you good.
Yeah. So, and turns out she's a badass. So,
you think?
Dodge, not Lol. Yeah. So, I thought the actress that played her, I thought she was really, really good at showing her what the heck is wrong with me. What am I? What is going on? Why do I know who you are? To Picard, and immediately Picard is like, "Ooh, a mission?
Yeah.
What is this?" He jumps right back into the thralls of someone needs me.
He's like Sherlock. He just can't stay away.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the moment that I first suspected that Dodge was Data related was when she was communicating with her mother, and her mother's like, find Picard, and she pulls up this heads up display and she starts typing real fast. I'm like, whoa, that what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
And then the wheels start turning, like, well, maybe that's a reincarnation of Lol. Maybe they pulled Lol out of the archives and updated her, and then Picard finds daughter in the archives. The archives.
Yeah.
How cool were the archives? Come on.
Yeah. I didn't get the significance of the archives until, like I said, I was watching that video that I was watching today where they were talking about how the archives in there were things in there that was, it was either that. No, I was watching the Ready Room thing where they were talking about how they had the
Captain Picard Day?
The Picard Day banner, and it was, Picard hated Picard Day.
Yes.
And
yes, he did.
Remind me where that came from.
Okay, so once a year on the ship, the school kids, because the families of the service people on the Enterprise, their kids were with them, would have a day to honor Captain Picard,
right?
And they would kind of follow him around and do things with him, and it's kind of like take your kids to work day. But Captain Picard didn't have any kids, so all of the kids of the Enterprise were his kids.
Gotcha.
And he was gruff, and he didn't want to. He didn't have time for this.
Gotcha.
This silly stuff. But in the archives, I loved seeing the model of the Stargazer, which was Captain Picard's first command.
Yep.
And all of the other little things. There was a model of, I think, the Enterprise E in there. And just a bunch of other little trinkets. I kept pausing it and looking around, what are goodies? That
particular sequence was the Easter egg, friggin' Ark of the Covenant, if you will. It was definitely
good pull.
What kind of goodies are all through here. So it I'm glad that you were able to have a good time with that one. So
yes,
was the painting, is that new for this show, or was that actually in an episode of TNG?
I did not recognize the painting. Okay. But Data was prolific in painting stuff.
No, I remember that. I just didn't remember if that specific painting was actually from an episode or not.
If it was, I don't remember it.
Okay, gotcha. So
yeah, I love how they stored the thing too.
Yeah,
with that little thing that unfolded, and that was.
I thought we were going to get some type of new holodeck type of simulation thing, because it looked kind of like, with the triangle trapezoidal thing. Thought it was going to be like a hologram that would pop up that he could interact with, but
the first of the facilitator was a hologram.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, I got that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what else? What else you got there on your little list?
So I thought it was interesting how this actually tied into the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because if you remember in that one, it started off with Picard starts off with the supernova, right? Destroying Romulus.
Right.
And
by the way, side note, if you haven't watched the short trek Children of Mars, go and watch the short trek on CBS All Access Children of Mars, because it really kind of ties into...
It's kind of a prologue.
Yeah, very really well done prologue of kind of the events of the attack on Mars and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Right. So Captain Picard was in charge of the Armada to rescue the Romulans, and that supernova was actually the very events that that Spock was trying to stop in the J.J. Abrams universe.
Yeah.
So that actually ties directly into this without changing anything, without retconning anything. It's just the two of them both exist, and they don't have to interfere.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just a nice tip of the cap.
You know what it makes me wish, and I know we'll never get it because Leonard Nimoy is no longer with us, but it makes me wish that we could have a scene between Spock and Picard where Spock's like, I'm going to go see what I can do to fix this. Mm-hmm. You go do this in case
because there was one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the two of them did have interactions in a really neat arc.
Yeah, Next Gen.
Next Gen.
Yeah. That would have been really, really cool. Well, we're pushing 20 minutes here, so before we get to the final thoughts here, is there anything about the episode that you didn't like? Any negatives?
So when I first saw it, the only thing that I thought was, boy, Captain Picard's putting this together real quick.
Okay.
That this is Data's daughter.
Okay.
And he's explaining it to her, and he's just put it all together that quickly. And I know that it's just because they only had an hour to tell this story.
Right.
That would really be my only criticism. And the only other thing, I think it would have actually been neater had they not revealed the name of the painting to be Daughter.
Yeah.
Had they just shown Dodge's face and Picard be, what is this? And then when he sees her, and maybe when she springs into action, he puts it together.
Yeah.
And we as the audience are putting it together as well. That would really be, and I know they couldn't do that because of timing, and they couldn't have done that because he needed to talk with her.
Now, you've seen it more than I have. Remind me, did he see the painting before he had the conversation with her or after?
So he has the conversation at the vineyard, and then she runs away, and then he goes and sees the painting
and finds out the painting's name is Daughter,
right? And
then goes to see her,
right?
Okay, so the timeline there, I can get with him putting it together like that. I didn't have a problem with that. I felt that it was a little convenient that they're twins. Do you think that the Dodge that we met, do you think she's actually dead, or do you think she just is somewhere like regenerating, or?
Well, I mean, that disruptor blew up.
Yeah.
We didn't, there's the old movie trope, if you don't see a body.
Don't actually see a body, yeah, that's where my mind went.
Right. I mean, they could have, somebody was beaming those Vulcan, those Romulan soldiers out of there pretty quick. I guess they could have beamed her out of there.
I do like how the beaming technology has improved in the past 20 years. And they have the portals that they just kind of walk through.
Sure.
And that's really cool.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I had told you on the phone after we, when we were talking about it the next day, I think this was a fantastic first episode.
Yes.
It answered the questions of what's he been up to over the past 18 years since the last time we saw him. What's the state of the galaxy? Since things have happened. What are the key talking points? And it sets up what the hell are Romulan refugees doing living in a Borg cube?
Spoiler.
What the hell are Romulan refugees doing living in a Borg cube?
Well, they don't have a planet.
I know, yeah. So, how much do you figure the Borg are going to factor into this season?
Well, they may want their ship back.
Yeah.
They don't like it when their shit gets messed with.
Yeah, they it's not so funny when you're assimilated, is it?
How about there wasn't one more little Easter egg right there at the end when Picard's talking with Alison Pill's character, and she mentions that her mentor is Dr. Maddox.
You had said that, and I didn't recognize the name.
Okay, so Dr. Maddox, we only see him once in Next Gen, and he comes from the Daystrom Institute,
right?
And he wants to.
Oh, this is the one you were telling me about. There was a trial about.
Well, so Maddox wants to deconstruct Data so that he can reverse engineer him. And Maddox says, "You're property of Starfleet, Data." And Data says, "No, I'm not. I'm a human being, or I'm a sentient being."
Yeah.
And so there's this trial to see whether or not. And Data's like, "I'm going to resign my commission." And they're like, "No, you were Starfleet property." So there's this trial.
Yeah.
And Picard has to take the side that Data is a sentient being, and Riker has to take the opposite side, and it's this epic showdown. And obviously, Picard ends up proving that Data is a sentient being.
Yeah,
it's a really touching scene where they come together. It really looks like Riker's going to have the upper hand because really a lot of good courtroom scenes are on his side. And
because they didn't get along for several seasons, right?
not that they didn't get along, they just didn't. Picard didn't really understand Data.
No, you mean Riker didn't understand Data.
Oh yeah. Well, and most of the bridge crew were just unfamiliar,
Right.
But this was a real great bonding scene between Picard and Data.
Yeah.
And just a great episode altogether. And in the end, Dr. Maddox, concedes that he is sentient, and Data ends up continually keeping in touch with Maddox.
Yeah.
And there's another episode where Data will record his entire day and send it to Maddox.
Yeah.
And so throughout the series, they continually correspond, even though you never see Maddox again. So he's been up to something.
Yeah. That video that I was telling you about that I had watched, one of the guys had a conspiracy theory, if you will, that when the Alison Pill's character opens the drawer and we see B4, that's actually Data. And they took the information that they needed from him and then decommissioned him, turned him off, deactivated, and put him in the box. And that he's just been there this whole time. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll actually see Data as we knew him in this series, or we'll just see a remnant of what we knew?
I doubt it. I mean, that Data's pretty well exploded.
I agree. I think the Data that we knew is gone, and I think the fact that we have the daughter. The episode he lives in here is going to be the how Data lives on. Is the living in here mentality. So yeah. Anyway, we are this was a good discussion. It's been a while since we've had one of these good discussions.
Well, I mean, this episode of Picard was jam-packed.
It really was.
There was so much stuff.
A lot to break down. And we will be doing a breakdown of this whole series. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our uploads as we continue where no man has gone before. That's not true. Plenty of people have gone down the YouTube rabbit hole. But hit this box right here. You can subscribe. Got something else fun for you to watch. And we're going to be right here bringing it all down for you as long as this series progresses. Don't forget, we also got Clone Wars coming at the end of February. And some other fun stuff as we move into the summer movie season.
I'm going to have some thoughts on Clone Wars, too.
You are not wrong, my friend. And until next time, we'll see you then.